Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys and gals. Let me get a sip of my water first. My beautiful radio voice going on. Let's talk about this. All right, last video on this got a lot of positive response. Even a lot of my clients chimed in. Some other coaches and followers came over and messaged me. Got a really positive response even in the vlogs. This week I started doing a body part split again. For those curious, coming up here for Thursday, I will most likely be doing shoulders and biceps, and I'm going to do legs technically on Friday, but it's really going to be, mostly quad and calf work because I've already done posterior chain. I may be changing these around depending on how the shoulder day goes tomorrow. I may move shoulders all the way into chest day and then put triceps and bicep day, just make it an arm day. So it would end up being my body part split would then be really pushing muscles, pulling muscles, then arms, then legs. So it would be push, pull, arms, and legs. Because as of right now, what I did already the first 2 days, I did chest and triceps on Monday. Then I did back and posterior chain on Tuesday. So as far as how all that goes, I'm actually feeling really good. I was a little worried because it's a little more volume for a lot of those muscles than I do in those workouts. I don't normally do that many total hard sets the way that I did because I did hard sets here. When I was doing the really high volumes for a while, I didn't take the sets as hard. I'm taking these sets really close to failure, some of them to failure. If you watch some of the videos, they are done to failure, some of the sets. But they're all within 1 rep. So I've been doing a little more volume. I thought I would be worried it was going to be a little more sore. I'm surprised I'm not. And here's what I'm noticing. I think I've got the volumes dialed in really well because I'm at that threshold to where I know I'll grow, but it's still enough that when I finish each workout, the muscles had a very tremendous pump. So when I finished all the chest work, my pecs were extremely pumped. When I finished the tricep work, my triceps were cramping and pumped so bad I felt it was like even trying to move my arms was difficult. Because it's a little more tricep volume than I normally do. Because after all the pressing, I did 9 really hard sets of triceps. So that went well. The next morning, I had a little tricep DOMS and a little pec DOMS the next day. It's Wednesday now. I'm recording this Wednesday afternoon. It may not be up till Thursday morning. That DOMS has faded already. So it lasted about a day. The same thing today. When I finished all my pulling and everything, my lats actually started hurting later that day. The DOMS kicked in. I'm sitting here now with a little bit of DOMS. So my back got a tremendous pump. My hamstrings got a tremendous pump. That's a normal amount of hamstring work for me. I'm not going to push them that hard. Mine are prone to cramping. I kept it just short of that amount. But I actually have a little hamstring DOMS. But my lats and my traps actually have DOMS today. It's like, okay, I don't normally get that. So that'll be interesting to see. So I feel like in terms of the volumes, if I do these once a week and I get 1 day of moderate to mild soreness, I think we're on the right track. So when we're talking training volumes, if you're training really hard, that's something I do point out to people. If your volumes are too high, if your performance is regressing set to set, you're probably getting too much volume. If you can get a good pump, you're probably in a good place. And if that pump sustains through the whole workout and you don't lose that pump, your volumes are probably, for hypertrophy purposes, they're probably in a pretty good place. If we start seeing performance degrade, we're getting too high. If we start losing that pump on all the rep work, volumes are a little too high possibly. All right? So, because we need to be able to do hard quality sets if we're trying to optimize things. And then as far as stuff goes, some DOMS is acceptable. And I think that's a good rule of thumb. If you're not ever getting any DOMS, because again, a lot of my training volumes sometimes, to be honest, were relatively low session to session because of my frequency. So I didn't always get DOMS. Only my triceps have been getting it really lately. But if we're going to try to get all of our real work done, because there'll be splash over. If we're going to get our real work done in 1 session per week, you do want to have a little bit of DOMS, but it shouldn't be crippling. So it shouldn't be, oh, my leg day, I can't walk the next day. Well, your training sucks if that's happening. And your recovery is probably bad. You should probably be eating better and be sleeping better more electrolytes. But that's exactly what I'm seeing. So I feel like I have the volumes right about where they need to be. I'm going to, like I said, I may adjust the split a little bit. I want to see how something goes tomorrow with the shoulder work. And if it does what I think it's going to do, I'll just switch it over. And then the next week I'll end up doing triceps and biceps together. But I will probably start with a closed grip bench press if I do that. Because I used to close grip exclusively. I haven't done it lately. I know it's regressed because I'm all wide grip now. So my benching is way out. So for those curious, I put this finger on the rings. That's where I'm benching these days. So that's why it looks so wide on camera. I'm almost like my hands are almost to the hook. So I'm almost to the edge of where I could almost wrist pinching my finger, racking it and unracking it. So I'm out here for benching. So I think I'll do closed grip to start, but then I'll have to hit the other angles. If I do closed grip, I'm absolutely going to have to do, some sort of laying in and behind the head extension both so that I get all those angles I want to work. But I do look at that and I do realize my triceps in general, even though I want that long head, I could use more of the lateral head. So getting stronger, getting some closed grip benching wouldn't be a bad thing. Because here's the whole idea with all of this. I want every muscle to get worked. I'm even going to throw a little bit of calf work back in. I know I don't need it. I did calf work for a few months, didn't do it for decades. I didn't see any calf growth, but they got a good pump. So I figured, but I might as well do it just to make sure they balance out. Because my programming is going to be really arm focused. I mean, if I'm having an arm day, we know that I care a lot about arms. And we know that I need to care about arms. But if my arms get bigger, my calves will need to come up, proportionately. So that is pretty much what I'm going to be doing with this. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I'm going to be curious to see how it goes. I'm always skeptical because, again, the old science, but again, we have to adapt with the science. And I've admitted that, and I've said a couple years back, look, the data is showing that we can get away with that. I've coached clients on 3-day push-pull leg splits, and they got great gains. So essentially, if I switch to that other rotation, it's just going to be push-pull legs with an arm day. That would be my body part split. We know that it works. We know that it works. I bet some people say, are you going to go to 5? I don't see the need for 5. I can get all the volume I need really easily in 4 days. But that is currently the plan. I'm still going to do some of the same stuff I did on squatting, right? So I'm going to continue to work on the pause squats. I'm probably going to keep the reps a little lower, but you guys are going to see some new stuff coming here. There's going to be some old exercises that are going to come into the mix in these couple of days that are going to be different. They're going to be different, or they're going to be stuff I used to do years ago you haven't seen me do in a long time. So I'm going to have some fun with it. We're going to introduce some new things. A lot of people have been really happy about me doing this journey. So I'm just kind of keeping people updated with a separate one. You guys will see the vlogs come up all 4 days each week. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.